afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Women in Construction. Today, we are joined by Kaci Roberts. She's the controller for I'm almost going to say that wrong, Braun and Butler. Thank you for joining us today, Kaci.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. It's exciting.
Absolutely. So why don't we just start off? Why don't you tell us about your journey and kind of how you got to where you are?
Okay, yeah. So I would say mine's a little bit different than some others. I definitely did not set out with the goal of being a controller in a construction company. It was not anywhere on my radar at all. I actually went to school for elementary education, had it set forever that I was going to be a second grade teacher. And then, life being what it is, kind of threw some wrenches in it. Ended up deciding, what, that's not for me. Took some time off and was working out as a bartender of all things. Through some friends, a friend of mine was actually the office manager for Braun and Butler at the time. And she said, hey, our admin assistant is going out on maternity leave and we're looking for somebody to fill in for her while she's gone, an 8-week assignment. How would you feel about just coming and interview with us? I was like, okay, I'd like to get involved in something besides bartending, looking towards the future. Okay, we'll see how this goes. So I came in, interviewed, they hired me that day with, all right, 8 weeks and that's all we need you for. So then ended up that I said, yeah, we're actually growing, so we can use another admin assistant. Perfect. So we'll keep you on. Excuse me. And so I started out as admin assistant and just kind of over the years, I'm one that's always looking to learn more, kind of just expand my knowledge. And so I took on some marketing roles and then over time got into the accounting department, kind of doing some accounting assistance for the office manager then. Just kind of had a hand in a little bit of everything and I loved it. And then in 2012, the vice president, Kent Heinze at the time, actually ended up purchasing the company from the two original founders, John Braun and David Butler. And we ended up downsizing considerably at that time. And he said, hey, how would you feel about staying on and taking over the role as controller? I said, Kent, that might be the craziest thing that you could ever do, but I'm up to the challenge. I am all in. And so that was in 2012. So we're going on year 10 now.
Wow.
Definitely been a learning experience for all of us. And so not having that accounting background, I decided a few years ago that, hey, you've really learned Braun and Butler accounting and construction from that standpoint. Why not go ahead and go back and get that good foundation? So a couple of years ago, I re-enrolled in school and I'm working on my accounting degree now.
Nice.
So I did it a little bit in reverse, but it's been good.
It's funny. I don't think anybody ever knows even these positions exist. So trying to go out for like even the credit managers or credit roles in construction are just not things people tend to do. So it is falling into those roles, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's definitely funny the way life works. Definitely throws you in some places you really never expected.
No, second grade teacher to bartender to construction, sure.
But I tell the guys, it's kind of like working with kids,
Yeah.
a lot of times.
A lot of times, definitely.
So that teacher mentality definitely comes in handy.
Oh, I bet. So what is a day-to-day look like in your current role?
Yeah. So, gosh, thinking about this question, I was like, man, really there's no typical day. And that's what I love about it. Every day really is different. So, just for instance, today with being in this role and working on school, I do 2 classes every semester. So trying to balance that, I usually start off the day doing schoolwork for one of my classes. And then I'm a firm believer in self-development, personal development, professional development. So right now, I'm working through Eat That Frog book on procrastination.
Eat That Frog?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's so funny. Such a crazy title, but the whole concept is, if you had to eat a frog in a day, that would definitely be the worst thing that you would have to do. So you want to get it out of the way early, and just kind of the concept of getting your hardest task out of the way early. Time management there. So that, and then, working through the end of the month. So working through some month-end job costing and posting those job costs. We're working, this is the time of year we do our employee reviews, so scheduling employee reviews. Been working with our marketing administrator on some new marketing initiatives that we've got going on, and we're looking to roll out in March. And then I think after this, I've got a call with my CPA to finish up our year-end review for last year. And then tomorrow it's just something completely different. And so it really is, definitely keeps you on your toes. You don't get bored in this position for sure.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely fun stuff. Just something always new and exciting.
Does it ever have a real bad point of your day where maybe you won't get your class done right away? Something, comes up emergency wise?
Sure. I mean, there's definitely, the best laid plans, right? You can plan out your day. All right, here's exactly what I'm going to work on. This is going to be a great day. I'm going to power through these, 3 items, just knock stuff off my to-do list. And then, we've definitely got an open door policy here. So it's, hey, we've got our project managers here in the office. They may need billing, help with their billings, or we may have HR issues to address, or, we're working through some specific kind of planning initiatives with our executive team. So it may be, hey, let's kind of pull aside and talk about this for a little bit. So there's definitely there's no perfect day,
Right.
but it's definitely involves a lot of flexibility and the ability to, all right, let me take a break from this, set it down, come back to it, and being able to refocus. But yeah, there's no perfect day. They're good days, but there's definitely no perfect days. And sometimes I get to the end of the day and think, man, I did not get anything on my to-do list done today. Productive all day, but you know what? It's okay. Tomorrow's another day. We'll give it another go.
Yeah, you just can't stress about it. You just have to let it go and keep moving forward.
It's definitely taken a while to get to that perspective, but yeah.
So what skills have you found that obviously you learn them on the job, but what skills do you think are essential for the position that you're in?
Gosh, it being an accounting position, definitely the numbers and being organized, you said having that ability to have those distractions and be able to refocus. One of my, not something I excel in is working with, I guess, the people side of it, the managing of people. I'm one of those people that just, let me just come to work, do my job, everybody, you do your job, I'll do my job. It's going to be great. So definitely I've had to step outside of my comfort zone in dealing with, and I won't say, we're a pretty small company, very like-minded people here. And so we don't have huge HR issues that, I think some of the larger companies would have when you have just kind of the intermingling of so many different types of personalities. But there's always HR issues that come up. There's just issues to deal with. So making myself be intentional with that, the human side of the position.
The accounting numbers and the people side don't usually merge together too well.
Yeah, but that's one of the things that makes it a fun job. And definitely with this company, the people are what makes this company such a great place to work.
Right.
So, definitely have to spend some time with the people.
I agree with that. What do you think? I mean, obviously you said issues come up, but what do you think the main challenge you face in your position would be?
I think for me, it would be the same as any female executive would face. Just that struggle between that work-life balance. Because for me personally, I love my job and would spend, countless hours at work getting stuff done. But, just then kind of balancing with it because I have, kids at home, my husband, I've got stuff going on outside of work. And so making sure to find that balance really, but still committing enough time to work to get stuff done without overcommitting, making sure that at the end of the day, I'm able to go home, detach enough to where, I can go home, I can be a mom, I can be a wife, and can have that time together, and kind of rejuvenate myself and then come back to work the next day and do it all over again.
Yeah. We're finding that a lot of people are working more since people went remote, because now that everything's at home, they can sit there and answer on their phone or check their Slacks and Teams. And do you find that you have to do that too, or are you able to separate those?
Yeah, thankfully I can definitely turn off my notifications at the end of the day. But I will say, for me, it's been kind of a blessing too, because I've got, my office here. I've got my office set up at home to where, hey, I may during busy time, all right, you're working throughout the day. Now I'm going to detach from this. I'm going to go spend some intentional time with my family. And then, once my daughter's in bed, my husband is off doing his thing, then I can go to my home office and spend a little bit more time just to kind of work through some things without having to be stuck at the office in that time frame that I should and would be home with my family.
Well, it's good that you can do that. I'm still working on the shutting off the notifications. It's always so easy just to answer something, but it does take time.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Are you a member? I mean, actually, I met you in CFMA. I know that, but are you a member of any other professional groups or associations?
I am not, but I do have to do that plug for CFMA. For me, not coming from necessarily construction accounting background, when I took over this position in 2012, I got introduced to CFMA, and that was kind of back when it was the OGs, Earl Harper and Anna Fisher, and they were huge in getting me just kind of plugged in there and becoming really part of CFMA and just the benefits that I've received from not just the Central Texas chapter with the luncheons and the networking, but they're like the national convention and the Lone Star conference, the webinars. I really don't have enough good things to say about CFMA. I mean, they're just never ending. But beyond that, no, CFMA that's my organization.
Yeah. Have you had a mentor, or have you done any mentoring for people?
I haven't, so not officially. I will say when I took over the position here in 2012, the CFO at Forever and one of the original founders, David Butler, became my mentor. And he was, even prior to then, but with the transition and for years after, he was one of my, just biggest blessings, not just on the, hey, how do you do this? Or, hey, what is this whole sales tax thing? How does this work? But just on the, personal side of kind of jumping into something that I really never had any experience with, but just that personal and professional mentor. And he was amazing.
I bet that had a lot to do with you staying where you currently are and enjoying what you're doing so much. I mean, it's a long time to be at a current position or current company.
Yeah, very good company that I work for.
How do you think the construction industry, obviously it has changed a lot since the pandemic, but have you noticed any major things that maybe you've had to change your processes on, or that you think is going to come up where you might have to make some changes?
Yeah, kind of thinking through this, for us, I guess the biggest difference that we've seen kind of internally is with COVID and the ability to have our employees work remotely has been huge. Before that, we'd have here and there, we'd have some people, I need to be out for a little while. Okay, yeah, here you can work from home. But what we saw with COVID is, hey, it actually works pretty well. With us being more a relational company, you definitely lose some of that when you have a bigger remote workforce. But it has given us a lot of flexibility, especially with our admin team, to say, okay, yeah, you need to be out for a little bit. So many of us with kids, hey, okay, we've got COVID over here, we were exposed over here, or my kids, going to be out for this. And having the ability to have people work from home has been huge. We're definitely seeing, kind of on the construction side of it, with supply chain issues, with not just with the issues, but it's forcing our pre-construction and our estimators and our project managers to kind of really start thinking outside of the box of, hey, here's how we typically solve these problems, but due to this, and this, maybe let's try to come up with some unique solutions to this problem. So it's been really interesting to see kind of the solutions that our guys are coming with. And that just comes
How creative they are.
Yeah, no, for sure. And just really using their years of experience to kind of benefit these projects that we're working on has been huge.
Are you having any labor issues?
Yeah, of course so we're general contractors, subcontract everything out. So we definitely are seeing some labor shortages out in the field. So I won't say it hasn't been a huge effect. We're definitely seeing it kind of trending upward now, getting back to where we hope it needs to be. But it has definitely caused some challenges that we've had to work through.
What I've heard, it seems like it's more like for the subcontractor side to have those labor issues because everybody's getting paid, to stay home, basically.
Yes, exactly.
So being a woman in construction, do you see, especially as you've grown with it, do you see any differences or challenges being a woman as opposed to a guy in the same position?
So looking at like from my perspective, I was raised, my dad was a firefighter for years. So I was raised in the fire department around and he was in construction. And so it's kind of what I knew growing up. So it really wasn't out of the ordinary for me to spend more time with males than females. And so coming into an office where the majority of our workforce is male, it wasn't a big change for me. I think there is that stigma, though, of being the only female.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm one of 5 officers in our company, the only female. And so there is always that, gosh, not from our people. Seems like from the outside, oh, what is it? What is it? You're the only woman. Okay, yes. But I think being the only woman, and from what I've seen and working with these guys, is we truly do bring a different perspective to the table. And so from my perspective, in our company, at least, it's valued. So that differing perspective is huge. And it's, for people getting started, I just say, don't be intimidated by that. Don't ever be intimidated to be the only woman in a room full of males, because you bring something to the table that no other male in that room has. And, with that, definitely surround yourself with other females in construction. And that goes to kind of getting involved in organizations. And I've been blessed to meet some really great female executives in the construction industry through CFMA and through other events. And just having those connections and being able, having somebody that you can kind of talk to and is going through similar situations or might be working through similar things and understand. I'm so sorry. Hold on.
You're okay.
Or might be working through stuff. It's just nice to have those connections. But definitely for me, it's never been, there's never been a time in my life in this position so for me, there's never been a time in this position where I have, nobody's definitely ever said to me, well, you don't belong here because you're female. It's been more the opposite of, hey man, we're really glad to have you here. We're glad to have that female perspective. And definitely kind of play the mom role for some of these guys. But just me being just kind of that naturally nurturing person, it's a good fit.
Do you think it's helped that you've grown with the company?
It definitely has. So I will say, not only am I the only female executive, I'm one of the youngest people in the company. Definitely one of the youngest by about a decade of our officers. So that's definitely a little bit of a challenge, just more for my own kind of perspective of feeling, hey, I've got to really prove myself.
Right.
But like I said, the guys that I work with, they're so great, so encouraging, just always, hey, how can we, and everybody here kind of follows that same mentality of being lifelong learners and proving ourselves and, just really team players. So there's never been a time where I felt put down for being a woman or young. Definitely nothing like that.
That helped. It sounds like you have a great group of people that you're working with.
100% agree with that. Yes.
So let's get a little personal. If you're able to be anything that you would want in life, maybe even going back to second grade teacher or bartender, but outside of what you currently are, what would you want to be?
So I definitely would not want to go back to being a teacher. Thankfully, I still love kids, working with kids through my church. I taught Sunday school for years. And so kind of get that feel there. And so love it. Gosh, this is such a struggling question because I love what I do. I truly do. I think we joke, I love organization. And so
that's an OCD kind of thing.
It really is. Yeah. I always joke I'd be a professional organizer.
They have those closet organizer people.
Oh yeah. No, I love it. But yeah, truly, I love what I do. I love the flexibility that it allows me to be able to pursue other passions that I have outside of work. Yeah, gosh, I can't imagine doing anything else.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean, you're where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So what are 3 words that your friends would use to describe you?
Okay, so I had to actually ask my friends. I texted them right before this. So organized, definitely. And I think it really is one of those OCD anxiety things that things are out of place. Organized, determined, and selfless.
Those are nice ones.
Yeah, I was like, wow, thanks, guys. Those are great.
See, you never would have known if you didn't ask.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think everybody should ask their friends for that. What are the 3 words that y'all would use to describe me?
Absolutely. It gives you motivation or a little encouragement, a little push there. As long as they're good words, I guess.
Well, I did get some other ones that I definitely couldn't share. So I just
So you say you like to do things outside of work. What are a few things you like to do?
Yeah. So really anything that gets me outside, working in an office all day, every day, any time that I don't have to spend behind a computer is great. So we really enjoy hiking, just being out in nature. Took my youngest just last weekend over to Enchanted Rock. And so
I love it there.
Hiking. Gosh, it was beautiful. Hiking, going to, live music events. Texas country music is kind of my thing. So anytime I can go see a concert, I'm good. Spending time with friends. We just built a new house and have this great back porch. And so we're definitely looking forward to some time on the back porch as the weather kind of warms up.
Very nice. We might have to schedule a luncheon over at your back porch.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's next for you in your career? Are you just going to stay there and kind of retire with the group, or do you see doing anything else?
Yeah, like I said, I definitely cannot imagine being anywhere else but here. So I've got a couple more years to finish up my accounting degree, and then probably go ahead, and since I made it all the way through that, go ahead and sit for the CPA exam and get that designation. But really not to advance my career beyond here. Really, it's just, with all the classes I'm taking and the whole point of getting that degree, it really is just to benefit my position here and benefit the company, and just to be, the best asset for the company that I can be. So yeah, as of right now, one day I'd love to retire from Brown and Butler, and who knows after that, but I have no plans for going anywhere else besides here.
Very nice. It's nice that you found your home so early in your career.
Yeah, huge blessing.
Definitely. Well, again, thank you for taking the time today to join us. Congratulations on being nominated as one of the women in construction that we're going to feature. Your article and video will be posted the 2nd week of March, and we will have some little goodies coming to your office for everybody to celebrate with.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lori. I appreciate it. This was fun.